Hi guys and welcome to Bomb Anime.
It's your girl Bruca.
And Big Boy Summer here. Demon Slayer. Swordsmith Village Arc.
Okay, so we got introduced to a bunch of the demons that we've not yet met before. They all met together for the first time in 113 years. That has been the length of time since an upper echelon has been killed, and it's now happened again. They need to get their ish together. Then we had Tanjiro waking up from his 2-month coma after this crazy entertainment district arc, and then he has to go to the swordsmith village to go get him a sword. Let's just get into this right now.
We were met with a conference of the upper demons. Muzan was pissed. He was saying that they're all ineffective and he has absolutely no idea what he has them for, and he started breaking a bunch of stuff.
It was really interesting to see all of them together and the interactions between each of the demons. Villains, they're always kind of battling each other. It's part of the reason why they lose, because they just can't get their ish together. So we've got Akaza, who definitely has a problem with Kokushibo and Lord Doma. Lord Doma came into it after him but got promoted before him, so he really doesn't like this. He don't like him. And then also Kokushibo, who he rules them with an iron fist. He believes in ranking and he's clearly very strong. But Akaza has said, look, I'm gonna kill you no matter what. Like, I don't know what their beef is with each other, but I cannot wait to see it come to a head. Also, I don't know if it's just me, but Kokushibo kind of looks like Tanjiro's dad.
I actually have to agree with you there. Like, they've got the same kind of hair, they've got the same kind of mannerisms,
same weapon.
The only freaky thing about him is his face.
Yeah.
His face looks scary. Look, these demons, except for Akaza, are nightmare fuel. All of them. I'm a little bit tentative. Can you imagine that kind of thing walking behind you in a dark alley? No, thank you. I'm a swerve real quick.
Now, I am not going to say that this is Tanjiro's dad, because we know that this guy has been here for 113 years. But I think that it's very possible that they're from the same family.
Yeah, it's probably very possible. Muzan is looking for the rest of the Ubashiki family, as well as the spider lily. What are those things? I have no idea. They haven't explained it in this episode. Obviously, I'm guessing we might get the reasons soon, but I don't get what's going on in that situation.
Yeah, it's very interesting, but it just makes me think that they have so much things to cover. Demon Slayer is not going to be ending anytime soon. Muzan. He is real interesting. First of all, Lord Doma stood up to Muzan in a way that we haven't seen any of the other demons, and he did not get reprimanded for that either.
Yeah, I noticed that as well.
I found that extremely interesting. He just kind of let it fly, and he doesn't seem to be the kind that lets things fly. I mean, Gyokko had said that he had just heard about some information and got his head ripped off.
Yeah.
Right off, just because he didn't confirm it, yet Lord Doma can just talk to him kind of anyhow.
Whoa, let's not go that far.
Okay, well, you know, whatever.
But the way that Doma said it, he said, has there been a single point where I have disappointed you?
That is true. He did say that. Yeah.
I mean, it takes confidence for a subordinate to look up to their master and say, yo, bruv, aren't I your number one really though, fam? And I know he's number 2, but do you get what I mean? That level of confidence comes with feats. He has clearly shown his stuff. He's clearly got his stripes. Do you get what I mean? And for him to talk like that to the king of kings, let's be honest, Muzan is the king of music. I mean, Muzan is Michael Jackson. I mean, he is the king, innit? So therefore, you kind of have to have a certain way to talk to kings, innit? And my guy disregarded that entirely there.
Yeah, Muzan is sitting here collecting data from all of the fights, figuring out why each fight failed, what happened and where it went wrong. And he also mentioned that the demons are failing in the order of who has the most humanity to who has the least. It's something that we have already noticed while watching these demons fight. We do have a bit of talk no jutsu that goes on here with the demons, and you see inside of them, like right before they die, that they have some connection still to the living world. We've already noticed it, but it's interesting that Muzan is collecting all of this data almost more like a scientist, and I can't forget the fact that he was taking drops of blood from each of the demons that were left, and he was making it into another concoction. And he also mentioned that since one of the upper have died, they're now incomplete. Is this how he makes them? Does he use like the blood of each of them to create a new thing? Like, what exactly is he doing? Because I didn't think that so much science was involved in the creation of the demons.
Well, remember in the last arc that we heard the demons saying, if you just gave me some more of your blood, and this is the Mugen Train arc where the dream demon said, you know, to be killed by Lord Muzan is great, but one of the demons in the Infinite Castle was like, if you just give us some of your blood, we'll be stronger. And he was like, what's the point of giving trash more blood? You're just gonna die more spectacularly. So it's probably a concoction with his blood and the demon's blood to create an upper demon or a stronger demon than usual. It's something that's definitely, hopefully, gonna be explored later on in the arc. Also, Muzan doesn't like change. He had a whole little monologue saying how change disgusts him and it means it's decay and so on and so forth. And that right there kind of gives you a little bit more insight into into Muzan about what's going on here in his head and his view of demons in the place of society as a whole. Because let's be fair, if he wanted to go on a huge rampage, I don't honestly see what's stopping him.
We've actually said this before, we don't know what is actually stopping him from going so far. However, bringing it back to what you said about him not liking change, I found that kind of strange, because in order for him to even have these demons, that requires change. He is literally changing their DNA and changing who they are at their core and destroying parts of them for them to actually be a demon. So what's all that about? Is he also not changed? Like, we also had confirmation from Kaguya, who said that he was from his family. We already knew this, like, come on, it wasn't a shocking thing. We knew that Muzan and Kaguya had to be related in some way. So he must have been human at some point. You've also changed. So what is this? What's going on?
Maybe it's not the change in such as in change as a whole. Maybe it's a change of ideology and, as I said earlier, the place he has in society, or the place that demons have in society, or his place as supreme ruler over demons. I don't know, but we need to know what happened for Muzan to become Muzan and Kaguya to become Kaguya. Because, like, let's be honest, Kaguya has also changed in some way. In my head, I think he's a demon personally, but maybe the only demon who can live within the lotus flowers that stop demons from coming round or something. And maybe that's what's killing him but keeping him alive at the same time. I don't know.
My theory is that both of them went through a similar process in terms of what made Muzan a demon in the first place.
Okay.
The reason for all his scarring. Either he was involved in the process, tried to prevent the process, but he was involved in some way, and that's why he has all of this scarring and why he's slowly dying.
That probably is plausible as well. Guys, I know you're enjoying this episode, but I know a lot of you aren't actually subscribed. So all you gotta do is just press the subscribe button. It's right there. Don't forget to ding that bell.
Tanjiro was dreaming about a man that had the same earrings and same type of hair as his dad, but he did not identify him as his dad. He had said he was useless, he didn't do what he was supposed to do in life, and he just seemed really disappointed, and Tanjiro was like, that's so sad. Then when he was in the swordsmith village, he saw a guy that looked very much like that. Again, he also had a resemblance to Kokushibu. When you were talking about who they were looking for, the family that they're trying to eradicate, I really do believe this is Tanjiro's family line, and one of them is in the upper, he's the upper one, and this guy who was in Tanjiro's dream, plus his dad, and it's connected to this sword art that nobody has ever heard about, nobody knows about, but yet Tanjiro has learnt from his father. It seems to be something that is passed down.
Let's take it back, all the way back in time, back to episode 1. Who eradicated Tanjiro's family? Muzan. If I am a king, I am not doing none of my own dirty work. Why would you go off to a mountain village or a mountain little house way off the path, far away from the nearest village, to go and eradicate a family?
That seem like nobodies. They're not rich.
Yeah, they're not rich. There must be a reason there, innit?
He killed them to the very last child.
Yeah. So he didn't know Tanjiro wasn't there, and he thought he eradicated the entire family.
But also, why didn't he just kill Tanjiro afterwards? Tanjiro is not strong enough to fight Muzan or anything like that. Yeah. He's met him before.
He touched his shoulder,
killed him?
Remember when he touched his shoulder? He got vexed. Some of the pieces are trying to fall into place right now, and I feel like this is the arc to help us get along that. Kokushibo looks like that guy that Tanjiro had a dream about, and this episode is called Someone's Dream, so obviously it's a link in. Who is this guy? Why does Tanjiro have his earrings?
Let's just move on.
In order to get to the secret sword village, you have to jump on the back of a guide who then takes you to the next guide, and through some convoluted pathways and movements, you need to get there jumping off backs of guides, following crows who switch and change in between while being blindfolded and your ears covered, and in Tanjiro's case, his nose covered too. That's a lot of secrecy for a sword village. And we understand why. They create the best swords that do the job, except for Tanjiro's guy. Tanjiro's swordsmith sucks, because every single time Tanjiro goes on the mission, his sword breaks. He don't know how to make swords, man.
I would have thought that it would be completely encircled by like wisteria, but it wasn't. I understand the need for the secrecy. Obviously, if they took out the swordsmiths, it's over for humanity. It's dead. It was interesting that we had a bunch of Hashira just knocking about the place at the same time for two reasons, really. They're both there at the same time is number one, and number two is the fact that they're not on missions. We already know that they're very short on staff to the point where they'll send injured people to go on another mission. They'll just be like, sorry bruh, hopefully you don't die. However, we've got Tanjiro and Inosuke out of commission, and then you've also got spare time to chill with some Hashira just chilling in a village. And then we also had our favorite love Hashira telling Tanjiro that there is a secret sword hidden in the village that can make him stronger. Very coincidental, since the person who does his sword, makes his sword, is missing. We don't know why he's missing. It's kind of like he kind of has to go looking for this sword and he's going to be stronger. But then Tanjiro said to Nezuko that the sword would make her stronger? Didn't he?
Yeah, he said that, which I didn't understand, and I still don't understand. But
was it maybe a wrong typo, like the translation?
I don't know, but I feel like we're going to find out in the episode or two. Also, when he gets to the swordsmith village, as you said, there was two Hashira. So the other Hashira was Tokito. And he was talking to the guy who looks like Tanjiro's dad.
Right.
And there was a swordsmith in between them saying, no, you can't have it, or something about a key or something.
Right.
So I can't wait to find out what the hell is going on there. And why is that guy in the village that looks like Tanjiro's dad? Could it even be...
Upper one.
That would be too much. Could it be Kokushibo?
Well...
Could it be Kokushibo?
Demons shouldn't really be out in the daytime. We have seen exceptions to that.
Yes, we have.
So if he's upper one, he would be extremely strong, the closest to Muzan out of all of the rest. I think that he definitely could do that. And they do seem to be able to take more human forms.
And also, he does use a sword.
However, he did have the earrings of Tanjiro, so I think it's more likely to be the person from Tanjiro's dream.
Yeah. It is definitely more likely to be him.
But even that, he alluded to being dead.
And how did he get to the swordsmith village?
So many questions.
Him and Tengen were fighting Gyotaro. They were in the thick of the poison that was slowly, degenerating their bodies, and I get it. But the other two were literally at the same place at the same time, doing the same thing. So I thought that Zenitsu and Inosuke would have woken up at the same time, maybe. But it turns out that Zenitsu's actually a beast. Simples.
Zenitsu, there is something very special about him, and there's a lot of secrets. So, in fact, to be fair, there's a lot of secrets between him and Inosuke.
Yeah, totally.
Even Inosuke doesn't know fully about himself because of the way that he was raised, or not raised, I guess. But Zenitsu, there is definitely something so special about him. Tanjiro, I think that makes sense that he was in the coma for as long as he was. To me, he did more than anyone else. Before even it got to that stage, him and Nezuko were already fighting madly. So, yeah, take your break, be in your little coma. Zenitsu woke up the next day.
Yeah.
That's mad.
That is actually mad. But then again, Zenitsu does most of his feats when he's in a coma anyway, so
true.
that might have something to do with it, to be fair. And he's a lightning wizard, right? So maybe he burned it off. I don't know. I'm just clutching here. I just want to say that for an hour-long episode, they did the right amount of things for me to want to find out what's going on. They did not slack and live off the name Kimetsu no Yaiba. They put the work in to create story and create mystery and depth. So I am very happy with this. I will give this episode a rating of 9 out of 10 because nothing is perfect.
I found it really weird that Nezuko was sleeping for longer and longer stints every time she used her powers, but Tanjiro was only in a coma for 2 months and she was already awake and she has stayed awake. What the hell's going on? And what the hell again? This episode was great. They hacked this hour episode. There was not one moment where I was bored. I would definitely give this episode an 8.5. It was an excellent episode, but it was a lot of setting things up. They were setting us up for the rest of the anime. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and share because we are back.
Fair hype, fam. Fair hype. But I like it. I like it. Also, if you want to talk to us, DM us on our Instagram. That's bombanimeinsta. Peace.